As you know, I've been considering this matter over the weekend and discussing it with family and colleagues and friends. And I have decided, having considered the situation with my family, that not to put my name forward for selection as a candidate in the Laois Offaly constituency for the forthcoming election. And I'm conscious, of course, that the Laois Offaly Fianna Fáil organisation support remains available to me, and they've also made it clear that the decision rests with me and my family and that they'll respect that decision, and I thank them very much for their understanding.
But you did come under big pressure, though, in the last week or so to run. You know, surely your local supporters will be disappointed that you're not running.
Well, I mean, there has been, of course. I mean, I've contested 7 successive elections, and I have had the full support of my organisation at all times. As you know, I've been a strong team player in the local organisation, a very strong activist base, and clearly their preference would be, from looking at it from that point of view, to have me run again.
But wouldn't your preference have been to run again?
Well, I have to take things into consideration now in the context of the fact that having been Taoiseach, having been leader of the party, and now a former leader of the party, and to give a new break to the new leader and the new team that he's announced today. And I also have to take into account, of course, my own family considerations. This has been
Did you discuss this with Micheál Martin, or did he in any way request you to stand aside at this stage?
No, it wasn't a question of Micheál expecting me to stand aside at all. It was a question really of us having a chat, and he acknowledging that this is an issue for me and for my family to consider in the first instance. I mean, everyone in the Fianna Fáil party would like to see me stand again.
But is it a case that he wouldn't like to have former Taoiseach Brian Cowen on the backbenches?
No, we're very good friends, good colleagues, as you know. We've conducted a debate recently in a very straightforward and honourable way, and I remain very strongly supportive of him. He has my complete support, and I believe he will run a very fine campaign and lead Fianna Fáil into a very good election effort. So I think that this is really about having to make a decision myself and my family. It's about...
Can you tell us what your family said to you?
No. That's the whole idea of having family discussions, as you'll appreciate.
Barry Cowan's a member of your family.
He is, of course, and he's committed to politics too. But I think the issue for me is what direction I want to take in my life now. It's also about recognising that having held the highest office in the land, come through a very difficult, probably the most difficult period for us nation states for the last almost 3 years. I've led that government, motivated day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, for the purpose of stabilising our economy, adhering to the policies which I believe are the best policies for the country in the long term, ones that will secure our future. And the need to adhere to those policies is very much my view, rather than the suggestion that there are false or soft options available, which I'm sure we'll hear about from others who haven't had the responsibility. But the issue that I'm discussing tonight, if I may, is to bring to attention of my constituency and to the Midlands this decision that I've made after due deliberation and consideration to come here to my local radio station and give that
fair enough.
Firstly to them, and to say that I have greatly regarded as a great privilege to serve as a TD in the first instance, and subsequently in ministerial office, and finally as Taoiseach. And without the support of the people of Laois Offaly, of course, none of that would have been possible. So, since 1984...
Just to remind people, it was I think it was the highest first preference vote in the entire country you got in 2007, 19,100 votes.
Well, I mean, certainly it was a good vote. But the more important thing is that Fianna Fáil were returned to office, and we did well in the election. Obviously, we face a challenging election now. We need to devise and finalise our strategy, and that will continue between now and convention tomorrow night. So, for me, it's about thanking the people for the wonderful support that they've given me down the years, to thank them for all the opportunities it gave to me. I hope to serve them not only in terms of their own individual constituency interests, but local community organisations. And there are many things that have happened that are there that have improved the quality of life for people, and with which I've been associated, and I've been happy to be associated with them. And also, of course, to say that I've always worked with colleagues, whether at local council level, town and county, and indeed political adversaries. When elections are over, it remains the job of those who are elected to work on behalf of the people.
Do you think Fianna Fáil will get hammered?
I don't. I mean,
do you think they'll slip under 30 seats?
Campaigns matter. I read in the last election, before we started the campaign, we were on 30%, and people spoke about the inevitable drop in Fianna Fáil support. And we ended up with 41.6%, because the campaign and the issues that arise in the campaign, and what precisely are the prospective alternatives, and with what credibility are they being propounded.
Fianna Fáil also are presented with a problem. Tomorrow night they have their selection convention for Laois Offaly here in Tullamore. Who do you think they run? Is Barry the obvious successor, as Bertie Ahern once said about yourself?
No, these are decisions to be taken. What happens now is I've just.
But you'll be a delegate at the meeting, surely, member of the party.
I'm not so sure I have a vote actually. I'm no longer a TD once the Dáil is dissolved.
Do you remember a Fianna Fáil party? Surely you're entitled to vote at the convention.
That's not the way it works with us. You have to be a delegate to come. But anyway, let's make the serious point. The serious point is that the strategy to be devised will be announced by the Constituencies Committee through the chairman of the convention. That's still under discussion, and then we will have democratic decisions. And I welcome the fact that there are people who are interested in going forward for the party. As I say, we want to do that in a disciplined way, and I think that whoever emerges, and I certainly won't be getting involved in any of the
Just to let our listeners know the four names that were going to the convention were yourself, John Maloney, Sean Fleming and John Foley.
Yeah, those were the four names that were being mentioned.
Has anybody else withdrawn their name?
No, it'll be a question now for the... no, there's not to my knowledge. There will be a question now to be considered regarding how nominations are to be taken. There are rules under the core rule, and there's also the prospect of the reopening of nominations. But that's a matter for headquarters to decide upon. The issue will be this, that I believe that there can and should and will be a contest, and that contest will allow for a transparent, democratic decision to be taken, and that we row in behind those decisions, whatever they are.
Any truth in the rumour going around today that Fianna Fáil will actually only run two candidates? In other words, another of the three TDs, one of them will decide not to contest.
Well, again, as I say, the question of strategy is to be finalised by the party leader and the Constituencies Committee. There has been internal party discussions about these matters, and at the end of the day, whatever emerges, we will, deal with. And from my point of view, my purpose tonight is to say that my political career comes to an end with the calling of this election, but my commitment to the party remains as strong as ever.
Will you campaign? Will you canvass? Will you go around the country if asked to do so by Micheál Martin?
I will do whatever is asked of me, and I think primarily, obviously, I will be concentrating in my home constituency for the Fianna Fáil candidates, as I've always done. And from my point of view also, I just want to say once again to thank all of my supporters, all of my constituents and everyone in the Fianna Fáil organisation for the wonderful experience it has been over the past 26 and a half years to represent them at national level and at local level for 8 of those years as well. So, as I say, they've given me the time and space to make this decision. I've made it. I said I would make it in good time before the convention. I'm doing that now. And I want to thank everyone for allowing my family and I to come to this decision, and to say that, of course, it's with a heavy heart you make a decision such as this. It's a momentous decision for me. But also, I think it's the right decision because the party now is in the process of rebuilding and rejuvenating and renewing, and a generational shift should take place, of which I'm a part, certainly in terms of the tenure I've had as a prominent member of the organisation throughout the country.